Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare today to talk about competing. It's time to compete. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I was listening to Sorare Homies before this. I'm like 35 minutes in. Bob Flynn is the guest this week. Apologies if anybody hasn't been seen that already and you lost the surprise, but it's already out for hours, so get over it. But Bob's awesome, and it's every Sorare Homies is worth a listen because it's kind of this like laid back discussion that Keith does a really nice job of moving along, and people who like he gets strategy out of people, but they kind of like it's just kind of a natural laid back discussion, and it was great. So I highly recommend everyone go listen to that after the show. Thanks everyone for coming in. Kev Hurt, first live stream and podium for a while. Way to be. Malky second. Oh, Bob Flynn. There we go. Look at that. Podiums for Bob. As if he doesn't have enough podiums already. Stefan, what's up? Palmwa. Sorosol says international break means it's time to compete with a full South Korea stack. I don't know who they're playing, but I assume it's somebody they'll beat. CM Star said, after this show, everyone has to go watch Sorare Homies with Bob. He's the best person in the community. Yeah, see? It's all happening. Anyan, I'm for sure competing this week with a 99 lineup strength in Prem Div 1. Wow. That lineup strength really does make you feel good. Who cares how the lineup ends up? Anyway, Mike Baston, what's up? Just rode my way through Sorare after dark. Need some normality now. That was quite... I didn't stay for the end. In fact, I don't even know how much farther they went. But it was something. That was something. I was like almost crying laughing at multiple points of that show. And yeah, it was excellent. RJ, what's up? Happy Friday to you as well. Bought 3 Prem limited lineups all in Div 5 this week. Good luck on the climb. Andy Black, how's it going? Sorare Malta, Parrot Press, Red Devil 91, Sorare Strats. Red Devil does Sorare Data support NBA anymore? Not for lineup building, we do not. Andreas, thank you for coming in. So I was going to talk about competing, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But I also want to talk about the best trade I've ever made on Sorare, because half of it is done right now. My half is, I feel bad actually that I've only partially delivered on my part of the trade, if you will. But I'll get into that in a second. If a few of you may remember that when Sorare closed the club shop and we could all get all these great things that we've been, asking about for years, and apparently they've just had in the closet, but I was able to get a signed mystery jersey and probably would have gotten a couple others had I not wait or not bought it ahead of time, because after I bought the signed mystery jersey, I don't remember how many coins it was. I didn't have enough coins for another one, and so I spent all my coins on raffle tickets for things that I didn't even really want to win. And then the next day they lowered the price of the jerseys, and I could have gotten another one, which was kind of a bummer. But for those of you who were here, and this was 2 weeks ago, it was actually with Keith, Gator Guy 231, on show. I opened a Zagreb jersey, which was fun. It was cool. This was it here. I was just trying to find it, but yeah, signed Zagreb jersey. And the bummer about it, not a bummer, but I don't really have any affinity to Zagreb, but like that's sort of the beauty of mystery jerseys. Who knows what you're going to get? I also want to comment that YouTube has been putting in these chapters on, like, I don't do these myself, mostly because I'm way too lazy to do it, but they name all of the chapters. And so in this discussion with Keith, while I was looking for the part in this video that where I opened the jersey, I was going through, just kind of scrolling along, trying to see where it was. And I noticed, so we have XP disadvantage, in-season prices, it's never too late. And then there's drop your pants. And I was like, I don't I don't know what we were talking about then, that Sorare was like, that's what we should call this section of the show. Um, but they did. And how about that? It feels much more like a Sorare After Dark thing with no apologies. Yeah, no apologies, actually. But yeah, so this was sorry, I lost my screens here. So this was the Zagreb jersey, and the I got a DM from, I don't know if I want to expose them or not, but I will, because it was a really nice gesture. So I got a DM from Alan Heffelfinger, who some people might know. He's in the chat sometimes. He actually left a fantastic comment on yesterday's video that I'm going to talk about in this show that has nothing to do with this trade. But anyway, he said, "Hey, I got a mystery jersey too, and I think you might like it more than me. Can I send it to you?" And which was like incredibly generous. And it just made sense that I was like, "Yeah, do you want mine? Should we just trade?" And the answer was, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so I have it here, and I'm going to open it, because I think of all of the things that we like to complain about reward-wise and stuff on Sorare, sometimes really cool stuff happens. And so now I have a brand new autographed Midtjylland jersey. And I have one already. I now have 2 seasons worth, as I have 2 collections. If only my collections allowed me to get these jerseys, instead of happening to know someone at Sorare and somebody who happened to live in the same country as I do and was willing to pay the shipping to my house, that I would get these jerseys. But rightfully, it came in. So that's that. So this jersey is like, I don't love the design of the jersey, but it's so much easier to see the signatures. Like, if anybody remembers the one that I got previously, it's like black with very thin silver writing. Like, I didn't know that it was even signed when I saw it. But it is. And yeah. And so now this is it. I'm so fired up about this. I will also say that the room that I am in right now, I was going to say where I'm in the process of redoing it, but that's giving me much more credit than I deserve. But I am redoing this room, and these 2 jerseys are going to be prominently displayed in this room and like behind me somewhere, because it's the wonderful thing about Sorare has led, what all of the wonderful things of Sorare have led me to become extremely interested in a random Danish Superliga club that I have become a collector of, and now have 2 signed jerseys. And while when they play, I absolutely hate them so much, because just one of those things when you love it so much and they just don't do what you really hope and dream that they would do, and you just hate them a little bit. But I love it, and it's the jerseys represent everything that I love about Sorare. And it's a great reminder of, while the day-to-day stuff can sometimes feel not that exciting, or it feels like Sorare is out to get us or whatever, there's some really cool stuff that comes from playing Sorare and being part of this community. And shout out to Alan for sending this to me. I'm like eternally grateful. I am like super excited. And yeah, let's compete. Anyway, that's right, Mike. Swapping shirts with Sorare managers is great. Sorare Malta said, all that's left is a name change, Andrew Lairdson. Quinny, you shut your mouth on this contender stuff. Andreas Laird, that's a good one too. Yeah. Surso said the shop might be closed, but a community swap shop would be awesome. Totally agree. Totally agree. Like it, and also agree here with Rico Mod, it should literally be collections that got this. Yeah. And I'm not the only Midland collector out there. So it's not like I happen to deserve this more than anyone else. I mean, let's be honest, I do. But I'm just kidding. But uh, it is a benefit. It should be a benefit, right? Like then we love to kind of joke around about lighting money on fire on Sorare. If there is anyone, I don't know if there's anyone else who's lit more money on fire for Midland than I have. And now that's becoming kind of a badge of honor. Um, Amazingly, I'm not first place in any of them. But this is the 2022, 23, 24, 25 in season. See, so rare. I can play in season too. I'm an old user and I'm still buying new cards. And then the only person to complete the 23, 24 limited set. Only one, even though I'm not in first place. But yeah, Forza Midland, and it's great. I'm really excited. Like really, really excited. And it's fun that it came about without lineups and sweating DNPs and all that stuff. And so, yeah, that's it. Anyway, sorry. Back to the chat. Apologies. That was like a very long, I love Sorare, but today I love Sorare. Andy Black, can you spend 3 seconds and explain the community projections update? Yes. Don't be an asshole. Moving on. I'm not calling Andy one, by the way. MLS Source Guide, is that why all the challenger bangers aren't being DNP'd and bombarded in the projections? I don't know if that's why. I don't know. Philly Dilly, what's up? Quinny. John Andrews, let's find some new animals. That's sort of after dark content. That show was so good last night. I really did. Like, it's great. And Mike, I assume the pants chat was you. Yeah. But it was just like funny to see it pop up like that. Yeah. Lairdinho said, this is the part of Sora that is so amazing compared to others, harnessing it right, and it goes a long way. So what's funny is that I don't feel like they've harnessed it that greatly. Like, again, I think you could make the argument that if someone should get a Midland jersey, I happen to be one person who should get one. I don't know how many they have. Apparently 2. Or no, because there was another one that went to Sorare 7. So they had at least 3. I don't think they're the same season, but whatever. But either way, the continued, and I don't want to say like getting mystery jerseys is to people who like mystery jerseys are great. Like it's fine. And I actually wanted to bring this up because somebody in a comment from my stream with Nep earlier this week, it was LV Crown 9508, if anybody's familiar with them, but said, I have won cash. I have won lots of cards, also stars. But the most excited I have been with a reward is when I unexpectedly won a jersey. And I'm guessing that was from Rivals, but I have no idea. Even when it turned out to be a jersey of a very random Serie B team. Not sure how easily Sorare can do this, but I would love it if they put more real life stuff in boxes, even if it's stuff like keychains or other types of merchandise. Now, I will say it would be like an incredible troll for them to like start rewarding things that like the winner of FPL gets, but they do it every game week. But that's a spiteful thing for another day. But so I don't want to say that mystery jerseys are a bad prize. They're great. And like, I know Keith has won a couple. He like proudly hangs them in his house, probably back in the room that he doesn't go in, but whatever, he has them. And it is fun. But if that's the only way we're distributing them and you can't give them to the people who actually want a jersey, like that's what I think is kind of weird about this mystery jersey thing, is that because of collections, excuse me, we know people who want specific jerseys. Like there probably aren't that many people who want a signed Midland jersey, like who are playing so rare. Are there more than me? Of course. Of course. Although there's been some significant slander in the Sorare Scandinavia Discord, including this ridiculous talk about going to Contender. So maybe they shouldn't be getting jerseys, but whatever. But we know that there are people who want some of these random jerseys. And yet, instead of rewarding them for that, we're giving them to people who don't like this Zagreb jersey I had. Like, I don't, cool. It was cool. And when I got it and I opened it, everyone's like, oh, that's a W, because like we can name 4 people from Zagreb, but like we don't, I don't want to say I didn't want it, but I wanted the Midtjylland one more. And it's very easy to tell that I would want that because I have multiple collections of the same team that I like to collect. Rikaman said, I'm Olivet's number 1 last season. I got nothing for it when they did the collection event. Yeah, maybe. Sir Malta, can't wait for my Guangzhou pencil topper. Yeah, it's great. Lairdinho said anything signed from a player or team would be fun, even if they can't provide lots of shirts. So I assume that like shirts, and actually, I was talking to Andy about it, Andy Black, and we actually would have preferred to just get a mystery jersey to wear. And they didn't have that. They had a raffle for it, but they didn't have like get a jersey, because I'm more willing to like wear a random jersey than I am to like hang a signed jersey of a team I don't care about in my house. And so that the random jersey part, like I would have loved, like I would wear the Zagreb jersey. I would wear that, but it's signed. And I'm not a psycho like Black who got a signed jersey and washed the signatures out so he could wear it. Sir Josh said, I want a soul signed jersey, and at the time had like 6 Osmars. Very much appreciated. Osmar. Oh, that is a name I have not thought of in a while. But man, R.I.P. Osmar. How are they doing in K2? Did they get promoted? Guys, let's look at this together. He went to like the other Seoul K-League 2 table. Come on, let's see Seoul at the top. Does this mean they're up? Does anybody know what this means? Sorare Seoul. Is Osmar coming back to the K-League? K1, that is. That would be cool. Bob Franklin said, I'm gonna come out of retirement and fight you for that Guangzhou pencil topper. Rikamon, why not add a token to the boxes that can be traded for items in a store? That item available above a certain collection score. I mean, there's a lot they could do. What do you think I can get from Nellis for my Danny Parejo signed Villarreal shirt? Nothing, because he has one. Somebody got him one already. Peter, what's his name, said, I'd love anything Sorare related, yet to win anything, and that's been a bummer, hopefully in the next year. Peter, you don't have any collections. I'm just kidding. Obviously, it doesn't matter. Anyway. Hilo said, the way they should do specific jerseys is mini comps where you have to play a stack of that team. Whoever scores most points gets the jersey, so collection bonus will come into play. That is interesting. I don't think they're going to do that, but that's a cool idea. Because like, how many people would actually end up competing for it? I mean, even if it's like 10, that's cool. Cool. That's a cool idea. I think they need to reward more signed headshots. I don't think they have those. Like, they're not buying these jerseys. They're not going to the clubs and saying, can I have 5 signed jerseys? I think it's just like part of the deal. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll get those to you. Sir Strat said, I want a signed Liverpool shirt in the special Liverpool comp last season. Best prize I've ever won anywhere. Oh, all right. Anywhere ever, excuse me. So I guess you could do that. Germ said, only Ren limited full collection, 5% and number 1, hoping it gets rewarded in some way. See, the problem, Germ, is that you and I don't have a full collection. I am first with 5. I assume I'm 5%. That's going to actually, could you imagine if I wasn't? Where was I? Just had it. Oh, it is 5%. But old collections, I don't think they're ever going to do, which is about, I mean, we can't even keep our badge because they don't have the Ren license anymore. I am really close to, like, there's going to be a day, and it's international breaks when I spend most of my money on collections, which is really bad. But the remaining Ren pieces are just, they're pricey. What I have, like, I'm missing Alamdar, who went on the market and I didn't buy it, and I totally should have just lit money on fire. Gerassi's always going to be expensive, and Tell, like, who knows? Anyway, Osmar could be promoted because they have playoffs. Oh man, has he even been playing? Reves Bajada says, "Can we move to compete? Can we not like enjoy ourselves a little bit?" Jeez. Mike said, "I was actually thankful when the mystery signed jersey I won sort of messed up and sent me an unsigned one, which I can wear." Yeah, like I think, yeah, yeah. It's ah. Funny enough, this is Solar Scout. Funny enough, when in Korea, Seoul Elan tickets were part of our tourism pass we got. Ooh, that's fun. That's fun. Germ is the Sturm VIP in 2 weeks. Germ, are you going to Austria? That's pretty cool. And Anion said the same thing happened to him. His friend was supposed to get a signed jersey and they got an unsigned, but then they got an extra signed jersey, which was from the club he supports, which is great. Yeah. And Mike said he was told to send his other one back. That's ridiculous. This is a great line. Sora Malta, I'm number 2 in the Guangzhou collector, was really hoping I'd win a Guangzhou shirt signed by the Tiger, Gabriel Tegrao, because I thought he was the next Cecina. He's actually the K-League Lukaku. Is he that bad? Let's see. Tegrao. Just like a Mr. Big Chance missed. And now he's hurt. He'll get to 90 one day. Sorry. And Mike got refunded his So coins. Lairdinho said a signed poster would be even nicer, easier, and cheaper to ship too, I think. Is it cheaper? Because it's like you got to get the tube. I mean, it's obviously lighter, not that like a jersey. So as I picked this jersey up, after I won that Zagreb shirt, I put it on this bookshelf right here, and it was there until I mailed it. Like that's how much it mattered to me. I just like, I didn't really care about it, but I really care about this one. And I'm going to have to go figure out how to frame it. Anyway. When's Sorare Data signed to merch? That'd be a fun one. Mike said, I think Tigrau's on my shirt. Like, you have a Guangzhou signed shirt or unsigned? Like, it's a Tigrau shirt, or do you have a Guangzhou autograph shirt, Mike? Yeah. Oh, Germ is going. Way to be. Way to be. Mike, I'm not going to put it on. I put the other one on because I thought it was just a regular shirt. Do I have I might have a picture of me wearing the shirt because I went like hold on, let me see if I can find it. When was that? Sorry, I'm literally just scrolling. Oh, found it. All right. Can you tell? Yeah, like, hold on. Like, if anybody saw this shirt, would you know that it was signed? It's not until you like really zoom in. I don't even know if you guys can tell this, but like there's a signature and a couple here. And then it was like, is this just part of the design? I actually went onto the website, onto the Midtjylland website to see if it was just the design of the shirt, because both shirts I've gotten, the Midtjylland, original Midtjylland one and the Zagreb one, no certificate of authenticity whatsoever. It could have been Nicola signing it, Zura, whoever. I will say on that, on the Zagreb shirt, I noticed one of the signatures. Hold on, sorry, I have like all these windows open on my computer for some reason, and I end up losing it. Here we go. If you notice somebody's signature, they do like a smiley face. Which is kind of nice. They were happy. Anyway, Peter, are we too spoiled? Not to be hard on you, but there are plenty of people that would love to get anything. I'm totally not jealous, I promise. No, I'm not. I don't think I'm spoiled. That doesn't mean I'm not. but it just feels like there's a better way to distribute things that could be like enormously special for some people and are not special at all for others. And instead of wanting to, or instead of choosing to reward the people who are the most passionate about a club, instead you're kind of just like, yeah, here's a mystery. Hope you enjoy it. Like I almost feel like a mystery jersey is way more valuable to the random person than a mystery sign jersey. That's sort of what it is. But Peter, I hope that you win something like that soon. You're too busy just trying to win cash. That's the problem. There's more to life and more to Sorare than just cash, Peter. There's dashboards. Anyway, so let's talk about competing, because my excitement about Sorare, thanks to this jersey, is running counter to a lot of the people in the community right now. And I think for those of us who are still very engaged in the game, have an incredible opportunity to take advantage of people who are not as engaged. And the more that people spend their energy trying to find ways to make the game better instead of just playing the game, will be distracted and make suboptimal decisions that we can take advantage of. And that's not to say that people shouldn't get frustrated about certain things in the game. I'm like, I get it. I own classic super rares, contender super rares, no less. I get how bad the super rare competitions are. I don't think classic is nearly as bad as some people are making it, are feeling as it is. I don't want to say are making it seem like it, like they feel how they feel. But I do think that there there are more users now who are becoming kind of complacent about the game, and it's not really my job to convince them that they should be excited. People will be excited about things if whether you try to convince them or not. But I do think that for that there it is presented, excuse me, I do think that an opportunity is being presented to us that we can really generate better results than we have been by taking advantage of other people's frustration and complacency in the game. And while the idea that classic is dead and super nobody wants super rares anymore and divisions are terrible and all the prizes are still there, somebody still has to win them. And even if you want to make the argument that a lot of the people who are in this complacent place have like, oh, but they have great cards, they're running them anyway, but they're also just like, maybe they're not taking the time to figure out if they're putting them in the right competitions or not. We know a lot of them aren't in Division One because it's all that we hear about. And so if we're in Division One, hey, here are some people that we don't have to compete against. And it's a bummer that this feeling that I had in terms of now is our time to compete comes just as an international break comes, because I absolutely hate international breaks from a competing standpoint, because I don't want to go out of my way to make international lineups and buy cards that in 2 weeks I'm never going to use. Kudos to everybody who does that though, and like you can attack it, that's great. But I do think the international break gives us a great opportunity to step out of the constant game week churn and look at your gallery and say, all right, what do I have? And maybe over the international break, you start making lineups, for when the break happened or when the break is over, and then a few weeks after that, and maybe you see where you might have holes. And I think this little break is a perfect opportunity to figure out how you're going to compete for the rest of the year, for the rest of the season, because the more people who spend their energy looking at lineups or looking at competitions and saying, oh, these prizes aren't good enough, or, oh, it takes me so long to put these lineups in, or, oh, why do I have to click so many times to find this information? And now they're using that time really negatively in terms of optimizing their Sorare strategy. And we can take advantage of that. Hatlingan said, I lost my AirPods recently and bought a pair of cheap garbage just to have something. You sound sick. I'm not sick, but now I'm going to get sick and I'm going to have to blame you for it. Mike said, I have more holes than Swiss cheese. Swiss League also have some very good players. Hopefully you have a Shaqiri. Philly Dilly said, trying to sell non-star super rares is absolutely brutal. At some point, keeping them and throwing them in Division 3 is better. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Not every card is going to be worth something. I have so many of those, though. Just like this card is, like the rares are realistically worth more. And we haven't seen that yet, but I do wonder if that's going to happen, where classic rares accidentally become more valuable than classic super rares. And it's only going to be that time where someone sells a super rare for below like the rare floor or whatever it is. And everyone is going to make a huge deal out of it. And it's just like, whatever. But like if you had the option to buy a rare or a super rare of a player and they were the same price, surely everyone buys the super rare, right? Or is the answer just like whatever? Like even if you never play super rare, you do just in case one day you do. Or if the player happens to like go off on this great run, surely the super rare is worth more, right? Right? Lairdinho, do you all play in all regions or stick to a smaller number? I won't answer for everybody, but I don't play La Liga or Bundesliga, and I think I only have one lineup in Champ. Two lineups in Champ because I didn't play Prem this week. I play all the good stuff. Contender Limited, Super Rare Contender, Classic. Like that's how you get cool stuff. Rikomon said, well, limited in-season were more than classic rares. And I think in-season rares are worth more than classic super rares. But I'm talking about like same. I don't think it'll happen in season. But like I think there will be a time where we see classic super rares the same as classic rares. Sir Strat says, easier to build XP and rare by getting collection pieces. That's a good point. So maybe you can make the argument that the classic rares are actually worth more than the classic super rares. That seems bad. But who am I to judge? Sorry, I keep looking at this jersey. It's nice that I wonder if Olsen's on here. Like, is this really a signature? Like, what is this? That's somebody's name. Looks like a mountain range. Gary V. Boom? Anyone? Right? And then, no? Oh, Emiliano Martinez, the real one, not the Villa guy. Oh, man, this is fun. Yeah, sorry. Rikomon said, I think the higher starting bid on Super Rare will help it. Do you think they should lower the minimum bid for Super Rares? Like $50-something for a Super Rare opening bid. Like there are a lot that go like unbid. Ryan said, you have to get one of those shirt frames with the cards displayed all around it. I've seen those, yeah. It seems like a lot of work. But I do have them all for the 2023-4 collection. I don't have all of them for this season. Sor Malta said, I won 1,200 euros in Contender a few weeks ago. It instantly went into Prem Limited in season. I'm fielding 12 teams per week from it. I am competing. Yeah, that's awesome. Peter said, allow afterpay on purchases and the market will fly. What is Afterpay? That sounds like Sorare credit. Germ said, I think once auction gets under 1 hour with 0 bids, it should go down to $5 and start bidding from there. But why 5? Why not 0? Marmouche or Keane, who gets more goals this weekend? I don't know. Whoever has the higher pick score. Ryan said, how many super rares don't just sell? Is that a super rare burn mechanism that people suggest often? Scosmo is the one who pointed out to me the other day that there was one day recently that there were like 7 or 8 that went unbid on. Now, Sorare just will auction those later because they don't do super rare instant buys. But like if those players happen to be helpful later on, like they can resell those. They don't have a rule that they can only bid like auction it once. Andrea said they definitely should. They now are at 60 euros because of ETH prices, just lost revenue since I assume they don't resell the card, although they might. Yeah, they do. They do. Buy now, pay later is what Peter said. That seems like a terrible idea. You can already, Anion said you can already do that with PayPal Pay in 30 days. Ooh. Peter said, I'm here for it. I'd love to spread it out over 2 years. Oh my God. This will be the next mass debt problem. Like, oh no, I can pay for my house. I just can't pay for my Sorare cards. Like, what happens if I guess Sorare just gets them? Whatever happened to that competition about that they were going to reward the cards in the Sorare gallery? Remember that? Like all the cards that were in swaps, weren't they going to have a competition for them? This is funny. Few cards I like for Sorare in the Sorare. Oh, there's Jizz in the Sorare gallery. And he said, not the loans we've been asking for, but why not? Stuck in the queue behind Bundesliga moments. Andrea said, I think specifically for super rare collections, they would greatly benefit from being able to pick up DNPs, et cetera, for $10 or $20, which they are worth rather than minimum 60. Totally agree, actually. Totally agree. Actually, let's look at this on Sorare on Sorare data, because then we can actually see the. No, that's not it. That's weird. Come on, Sorare managers. What was one of the cards? Bradley Alaco. Why are we still doing swaps? How have we not fixed this? Anyway, here's some of the Michael Bradley unique. Did somebody win this after he retired, you think? Yep, they sure did. Unbelievable. Andy, how much would you pay for this card since you're here? I thought this was one of the bot cards, isn't it? Oh, maybe that's a super rare. Anyway. Oh, even MLB cards in here. Impasi. He got hurt. Nabil Fakir. Is that this season? That is. Wow. So like the Fakir unique will not be available this year. All right. All right. Is this not riveting content, ZMstar? Looking at all these cool cards? Benita. It's a Jude? Somebody actually traded in a Jude? What are we doing? Oh my goodness. This competition would be awesome if they could have one and reward these cards. Look at that. KDB, Schlotterbeck, Jokic, Pedri. Man. A couple Alfonso Davies, Upamecano. This like doesn't cost him anything. Let's just come on, let's do it. You already minted the cards. It's not like we're getting more not like we're getting more cards out there. Papadopoulos, Mike Basson said. Oh, he's not bad. You're right. Yeah, Ryan Dino. Wouldn't mind my gallery looking like that one. For real. For real. Anyway, Halligan said, how much of the criticism lately do you, I'm assuming that means I agree with. I'm loving the game this season, but then again, I only play in season limited. That reminded me about the comment that I wanted to bring up, because it was about that. And it was from my best friend, Alan, who sent me this jersey. So there was a comment here about after yesterday's show where Andy and I were talking about how it's time for the users to get a W here. So this is the comment. He said, to be honest, the only way to seriously improve sentiment for longtime users is to somehow magically bring the stakes of the past back. Stakes that were based on circumstances mostly out of Sorare's control and typical pyramid scheme dynamics. The game and platform is unbelievably better than when Mbappe was $25,000. The website doesn't look like a scam. There are lots of interesting and different competitions. You don't have to mess with crypto if you don't want to. And most importantly, a path to a skilled player buying cards and making a profit over the course of a season is clearer than ever. But a significant portion of the user base pines for the way shittier time because a grifter because a grifter brought a bunch of people to the game. Those people will continue to complain and play into perpetuity. Bravo, Alan. Bravo. Cameron said, I love Sorare at the minute more than ever, and I started 11 months ago. Yeah, it's I read that and I was like, yep, I'm bringing that up. Paul Moorcroft, what's up? I'm late to this stream and had to pause it to open a beer and comment that I'm buzzing to see what your new jersey is. This is what the people need. Daniel said the nail has well and truly hit, the nail has been well and truly hit on the head there. Ryan Dino said that's all fine unless you're the guy who paid $25K. I mean, if you're that guy and you're still better 2 years later, 3 years later, when was Mbappe 25,000? Let's see the last time Mbappe was 25,000, because that is the card and that is the dollar amount that everybody uses. Let's go back to when Mbappe was $25,000. So let's see. The most recent, I would say, is August 2022. So we're 2 years and 3 months. What are we in? November? Yeah. 2 years and 3 months away from that. ZM Star said, bring back the times when you couldn't get paid because ETH fees were too high. Or you couldn't even transfer your card. Paul said, I feel like Sorare have never understood how big a selling point merch giveaways can be. They always handle it very shitly. They handed it poorly. Yeah. Anion said, Dan tweeted about making classic gameplay more engaging and fun. Can't wait for when it's done. How many people complain about not having more higher prices? Yeah, I mean, who knows? Didn't someone pay 6 figures for Ronaldo? I think for the unique. Camembert, whose name is not Camembert on Sorare anymore. A couple people did. But yeah. Oh, Camembert is there. 289,000. Now nobody owns it. Disabled. Wow. No, whatever. Malky said I wouldn't pay $25,000 for the human Mbappe. There are a lot of six-figure cards on Sorare. In NBA, there are six-figure cards. So let's not pretend like it was just football. But also, if anybody wants this Ronaldo, it's available for $13 million. Is that 1,000 ETH? No, that can't be right. 4,670. Why do you think? How do you think they got to this number? 4,670.0721 ETH. $13.5 million. And how did they get it? 77 ETH, which was $74,000 at the time, and a Ronaldo super rare. Feels high. But I don't know, maybe. Maybe it's not. Cameron, simple question, Laird. Do you see Sorare as a gambling game or a game where people gamble? I do not consider it a gambling game. And I know that I say that very quickly because it sounds like I have to say it. I don't work for them, so it doesn't even matter. And so no, I don't think it's but a game where people gamble is an interesting line. I think people gamble on things in Sorare more than monetarily, if that makes sense. I think people gamble on whether a player is going to start or not. And it's not necessarily that they're buying cards expecting to flip them. I don't think that they're, I guess people would call that investing and not gambling. I don't know. There are gambling tendencies in the game, but they're kind of gambling tendencies in any fantasy game, whether you play for money or not. But I find it very different than traditional sports betting, which is kind of what I'm thinking about with gambling. I don't think it's the same as playing blackjack, but I don't know. Mike Basson said, let's not forget Sorare made a shitload of money back in those days, $250,000 for Haaland, if I remember correctly. You do not remember correctly. Haaland was way more than $250,000, unless I'm remembering incorrectly. Yeah, I am not remembering incorrectly. 678,680 by Zima Blue at the time, who's now gone and now only owns this Paul Reed card. Silly. It's a lot of money. And in fairness, there were a lot of people bidding on that card. Obviously, it went up that high. But I remember when YNWA dropped that, it was actually, right at the end. I would say that we did a auction watch. We live streamed the end of that auction. That was before there were max bids and everything. That was one of the most fun times on Sorare. Watching that auction go, it was me, Quinny, Andy. Who else was on that show? I feel bad because I'm forgetting them now. Let's go find it. Because I think I even had a playlist of auction watches, right? There we go. Jude, where it is? Here it is. Maxime. Of all people to forget, it was Maxime. But when YNWA dropped that huge bid, it was wild. I wonder if I can find right when it happened. Sorry, I'm trying to find that one point where all of a sudden we just because he hadn't bid at all, and then all of a sudden he came in. I don't think you guys can you guys hear this? Let's see. I don't think we can, like, how absurd these prices were. $500,000. There was, like, that was peak Sorare right there. That moment was peak Sorare. Sorry, I have no sound. I was trying to put my, microphone up to it. It has aged me. I tell you, I'm like in fairness, I think I had shaved that day and gray hair on the face. Um, 2 years ago, you look 7 years younger. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. Anyway, I think that was peak Sorare. Um, here's the, here it is. I just dropped it in the chat. Mike seeing me scrolling through the chat. I've been around too long. The Yeah, so that one was crazy, legitimately crazy because the 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 background to that was that there was a time where, and I think AJ, who's Wen Moon, admitted this on a show, and my bad if he didn't, but he had a way of, or he used to like track ETH wallets on Sorare to find out like who the other people were that were like able to bid on big auctions. And it kind of came out the day before that Zima Blue had deposited 250 ETH, and we were like, obviously they're going to go for the Howland. And Roxy had gotten up to like 200, and Zima Blue like wasn't there. And we were like, how do you deposit that much money and not bid? And then they bid, and we were like, all right, there we go. And so it was between Roxy and Zima Blue. Bellama was probably in there. I mean, I'm saying all of this. I can just go back and look. But and then Mark, who before, I don't remember if he said it before or after. I kind of feel like he said it before. Mark, meaning YNWA, sorry, um, was saying that whoever bought the card like had to make sure that they could yield from it, because yielding from whatever the price was going to be, like it was going to be difficult to get that much money back. And clearly he thought he could yield it because he made that gigantic bid and then didn't even win the auction. And it, yeah, it was just a lot of money. I don't remember who this Kawasaki Zaka is. There's Zora. Look at that. Like Zora dropped in almost 100 ETH. Bellama went up to 108. Yeah. And then Roxy got involved. And then Zima Blue. And then YNWA, which, so YNWA went to 240 ETH. Maybe he was making the argument he just wanted to push the price up, which he did. And then that card just became an absolute albatross. But, you know, it's the first Howland card. It's the first Howland unique, excuse me. I always love the honeycomb. The black and yellow from Dortmund is pretty cool on this card. Ryan said, I only had 99 ETH that day. Unfortunately, was saving for the Joao Felix rare. I mean, sometimes you don't have enough. How much did it yield? Do we know? So one of the big things that Mark talked about this card is that like Zima Blue didn't have that many uniques, and Howland was U23 at the time, and so looks like JR Duke has won, Zima Blue won, a Fabian De Kaiser super rare, Evan Ndika super rare, somehow 300 all-star unique, probably got the ETH payout, a Brecht Capone unique, I don't even know what that is, this guy, Michael Kaufman, and Javier Vasquez. All-star super rare, one on Michael Kaufman. So you can see that that rewards have been terrible for years. And so, but yeah, that's what he won with this card. And I think JR Duke has had a little more success with it, including Mazraoui and Sancho super rare there. Won $1,500, but that was a couple game weeks ago. So this card's had a little more success, but you can make the argument that JR Duke had more cards to surround that Howland card with. So yeah. So Malta. So babe, did you buy the yacht? No, even better. I bought a picture of a Norwegian footballer. Mike said, did we ever know if YNWA is bidding with his own money or Blackpool money? I don't know. Cameron said, Pooch I assume that's Ricky Puig, has one fewer 90 to 100 this season than Ronaldo's entire career. In fairness, like Ronaldo's prime was not on Sorare. That was kind of the biggest bummer about Ronaldo is the, I would say the most forgettable time of his career is when we have cards. Like the Juventus Ronaldo years, I think they won. Yeah, they definitely won the Scudetto while he was there, because I remember Quinny trying to convince me once that the Ronaldo cards from that year would be worth more because they won. And I don't even know which year it was. Maybe Quinny would pay more for it. I don't know. But yeah, like no Man United, Ronaldo, like those cards would be cool. Maybe we'll get Legends one day. But even the Real Madrid one, I would even argue that the Al Nasser one would be more valuable than a Juventus one. So yeah, we'll see. Cameron said, but someone still paid 600K for him when he wasn't even a great scorer. I mean, yes, he was not a great scorer, but like he was, considered, I mean, he still is considered one of the best players in the world. I mean, these are still very good scores. He was probably better at Dortmund than he is at, well, actually, let's see. Dortmund starts 65.9 with 8 AA. Man City. So yeah, see, he was better at Dortmund. Is that what I said? 60? Yeah, 65. Yeah, way better at Dortmund. So like, and again, he was U23, he was young. Not to say he didn't love a big chance missed and all that stuff like he does now, but and I mean, I'm not here to say 650 whatever $1,000 was worth it, but he was better then, like as a prospect and card. And Graham said people still overpay for players because of their name. Yeah. Yeah. Toby said Ronaldo was just a pure poacher by that time, the Juve time. Maybe. Penaldo. Milgreen said Ronaldo's headers later in his career are impressive. He does jump. Yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, how did we get to the Haaland unique? Is that the last time we were happy about Sorare? Kidding. But yeah, ultimately it's back to our topic today that I spent 1 second on. But people who that price of 25,000 Mbappe, right? Thank you, Andreas. I wonder if we could go back. It was August 2022, right? Let's see. Let's see if I could see. I think I can. What the auctions were like in August 2022. Because maybe that'll give us a. Oh. Let's see if this will work. It's a long time ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't work. Results return. Yeah, I guess not. It's too old. I could probably look it up myself. But just like what other auctions were going for around there. But Halligan said, what's funny to me is that people spent all that money thinking prices would go up. Like, it's really difficult to understand the absurdity of that time if you weren't part of it. I think the Haaland one was a bit of an outlier in terms of like, could you eventually sell their card for more? But there was a general feeling in the community that the best players in the game would always go up. And it was difficult to argue against it if you were unable to see the future like MPen. And instead it was kind of, and maybe this goes back to like my projections conversation last week, that if all you ever see is things go up, why would you think they would go down? And obviously Mike explained exactly why they would potentially go down. And then they did. Mike decided that the cards were too expensive and wrote about it and then crashed the market. But I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, there was legitimately a time where it just felt like they'd go up forever. And they didn't. Escape said, meanwhile, I'm here popping champagne because my Lewis Hall Limited went from 6 to 16 euros. Good flip if you sold. But yeah, agreed. Milk Green said the crypto market was going up to around that time, and most of the whales were crypto bros. That's true too. There were a lot of crypto. I mean, those guys were absolutely crypto bro. There was nobody buying uniques that that weren't crypto bros. Anion said mine went from 30 to 16. GG's. So on, what did I say that Haaland, when did that sell? It was August. Oh no, it was Mbappe, excuse me. So in August of, oh my gosh, please don't tell me this was Nep's card. No, it wasn't. So on August 26th, 2022, the Joshua Kimmich 478 of 1,000 went for $1,800 on auction. $1.24 ETH. And so that's where we were at the time. $25,000 Mbappe rare, $1,000 Kimmich rare. And if you look, it's probably like, I'm not sure that was much of an outlier. So it was like, yeah, right here. $2,600. $2,700. Do we want to go back to that? Probably. If you have the cards. If you don't have cards, you don't want to go back to that because you'll never get them. Halligan said, damn, we were on topic there for a second and I derailed it. I don't really have much more to say about the topic, to be honest. Like, I think everyone here, for the most part, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people here who are watching a show like this are still very interested and engaged in Sorare. And I'm not telling you to be more engaged, even more engaged than you are, but I'm telling you that I think we have a tremendous opportunity right now to take advantage of that engagement, and don't waste it. And I'm not saying go in and buy a bunch of cards and do all this stuff, but it is, I think, with this international break now, a really good time to figure out what you want to do and to maximize, or excuse me, to optimize your cards and your gallery for the next few months. I wouldn't plan on, next year already. Some people are like, oh, maybe I should start saving for next August. Like, take it. We've seen how much what Sorare considers small changes can affect things. And so the time to like really take advantage is now. Arthur said, what could get us back there? More users? Do we want to go back to those prices? Again, like if you have those cards, you do. But if you don't, they almost become like they become unobtainable. And there are a lot of people with those cards. And if you don't have them, like you're dead. Sir Malta said every rare goalkeeper was €1,000 minimum. If a backup got a start, he was instantly €500. Looking back, it was mental. And he said, I think the top end of card prices is kind of soft capped anyways by having fixed prices now. I agree. I think that soft cap is way higher than people think it is, though. But I also don't think anybody's actually thinking of what that cap is. If we go back to that, everyone will just cash out and delete. I just want the excitement of playing. Yeah. Um, hold on. Where? Oh, that backup. Oh, still streaming post launch. Oh, welcome back, Peter. So I was talking to Harry Trades the other day, and this is I'll finish on this. This isn't quick, but I'll finish on this. Harry recently bought an Alfonso Davies in season rare, which he's very excited about, as he should be. He was somewhere around here. There he is. So we bought it for $224. He probably paid in pounds, but whatever. And then someone instant bought for 372, and he was feeling really good about it. And excuse me, Alfonso Davies was one of the first big cards I bought on Sorare. And I kind of remember the day I bought it, that it was in that time where I still wasn't really convinced on Sorare, but I had realized that because other people valued, I don't know why I need you guys to look at this, me scrolling, because people valued these NFTs, it didn't matter if I valued them or not. And it took me a long time to understand Sorare and get that these things are worth money to other people. So let me see if I can find this. Yeah. Okay. So I was one of the earlier Alfonso Davies buyers. I bought 36 of 100 of the year they launched. You can see like there were very few bought. Somehow people were paying whatever. I feel like I got a bit of a steal. And I spent $440 on this card, which at the time felt absolutely insane to me. I don't think that this might have been before Joao Felix. Let me see. 212.21. And I got my Joao. It's got to be around there. $123. All right. So I did have Joao. Excuse me. So this Davies card was like a very big purchase for me. And as you can see, I bought it on February 12th for $440, 0.25 ETH. And I sold it in December of that year for 1.2 ETH, which was $4,790. So I 10x'd my money in 10 months. And Nanzo said prices weren't that crazy if you were winning. Cash prizes were a lot higher back then, hence the sustainability conversations. So Nanzo, totally agree. Totally disagree that prices weren't that crazy back then, because I'm going to show you why. So I was saying to Harry, like, I made a pretty good like flip on. It's not that I flipped it, but I made pretty good profit on that card, turning $440 into $4,970. But I also won a bunch of rewards. And when you see the nothing rewards that I won and how much I sold them, you'll appreciate why this game had to change. And Nanzo is going to be sitting there like, no. We want these old prices. And if we all had this money, sure, we do. But anyway, so in the first 3 times I used him, I hit the lower, or the first 2 times I scored 205 points in All-Star Division 4 and won $25. Game week 157. I mean, obviously we have to go look at this. $157. I probably didn't have I did have a comment. Luis Diaz. Ha! How about that? So this is the lineup. This helped me win $25. Oh, Nanzo said I missed his point. Sorry, Nanzo. So I had Misaki Higashiguchi still in my gallery today. Alfonso Davies, Yutaka Yoshida, who I think is also still in my gallery. My God, he is. Who I captained over Alfonso Davies. Takuchi Yonemoto. I think I bought this card. Oh, I won him. Look at me snowballing. And now Pavel's got it. I wonder if he had it before. No. And a Luis Diaz common, which got 50% of the points. So anyway, so the first card, and the reason this conversation came up, actually, now I remember. Harry and I were talking about this guy, Zakaria Abdukal, because he's good now. But anyway, so I won him for finishing 27th in U23 Division 4, and I sold it for $340. Now you're like, well, maybe he was good back then. So this was what? September 2021. September. So game week 2. So these are the scores. I'll even go back. These are the scores of a player who cost $340. John Espinoza. Oh, only $38. He was probably dead. Not really, just Thierry Lutanda sold for $50. Yuki Kobayashi, which I think I actually sent in a trade. I did to Pavel for a Muslera. Sanchet, $450. And he was not good back then. Like, what did we say? 200 and something. That was like here. Like he's fine, but like hundreds of dollars. Quentin Timber, another one of Harry's boys, 578. And that was sold in November of 2021. So like here. No, sorry, earlier. No, here. Yeah. Of course, I sold him. He went on a run. Ludovic Blas, or however you say his name, $949. And Patrick Wimmer probably, 414. Like you could make full limited galleries with one of those cards now. Like, how do you go back to that? Sorry, Nanzo, I want to go back to this. Prices weren't that crazy if you were winning. Cash prizes were a lot higher. So yes, like they didn't seem that crazy. Totally agree. And if you go back to my own transactions, which I really hate to do, but you'll see like the amount that we spent. So that Higashiguchi card, like I bought this guy. I bought him because he was a starting goalie in the J League. He might have been the first goalie I bought. $667 was his first, and I spent $935 on him. $1,000 for this card. By the way, I won something with him, though. He's actually a Lairdinho FC legend. Carlos Heel? Yeah, there we go. Bring back the COVID money, yeah. But like that's the game that everybody's like, I want to get back to that. And you have to appreciate that the game doesn't work that way. And everyone's like, oh, it should stay a premium product and blah, blah, blah. And like the argument of staying a premium product, I just think falls on completely deaf ears, at least with me, because there aren't enough people in the world who want to spend that much money on a football JPEG. And everyone's like, well, there are plenty of like premium products throughout the world. And it's like, yeah, there are. And they're a lot cooler than JPEGs of footballers that require you now to play a fantasy football game to win cash. Like it's just not. That time was never going to be able to last. And it's easy to say now because it didn't last. Like there are just not enough people in the world for this to be a luxury product that succeeds. Anian said, I mean, that's what higher scarcity is there for, right? I think limited and rare are considered the scarcity for average football fans. I mean, you make the argument, super rare, I don't think is there anymore. But like you can't have a $600,000 Haaland unique and a $200 Haaland limited. Or I don't even know what a limited Haaland goes for these days. $100, excuse me. Like that math doesn't work ever. Mokrane said, sadly, the next crypto bull run, Sorare will no longer be the shiny new unicorn, and very little of that new money will make its way back to us. I mean, you could look at it that way, but you could also say that that Sorare is now not dependent on a crypto bull run to succeed. Nanza said, people weren't just mindlessly buying, they were selling for high prices and winning big. Not saying it should go back to that, but just looking at what people paid is only part of the story. So you're right. It is part of the story, but it's a gigantic part of the story. Like I don't. It sounds very weird because I was like, the high prices for the stars, I think were not okay, but like yes, people were selling like Mbappe for $25,000, but like should Masaki Higashiguchi ever be $1,000? That's where I struggle. I'm trying to see how high he ever went. 1,700. Man. Isn't even play anymore. Surface to air missile said, Sorare could have been a luxury product that could have been sustainable. It could not have been a luxury product with a ceiling high enough for what the team apparently wanted Sorare to be. So I totally disagree that it could have been a luxury product that could be sustainable. I don't. Like, you still need enough people to buy luxury products. And for most luxury products, cars, handbags, mansions, like there are enough people with enough money to do that. The ceiling on the population of people who want to buy blockchain football cards to play a fantasy game is way too low. Server said, now Sorare certainly could be sustainable without a luxury product, and in its current iteration, we will see. It could, I mean, yeah, it could be, but who knows? But like the prices back then were fun if you were in it. They obviously look insane right now, but I find it really difficult to see the argument that that was sustainable. And not sustainable in the whole like, are they going to go bankrupt? But just like, I just don't think that there were enough people that were going to come in and keep those prices going. Yeah, it's too niche, like way too niche. But yeah, I mean, maybe you make the argument that it stays high and the people don't actually have to care about the football part of it. Like Gary Vee wasn't here to play fantasy football. But again, like there just weren't enough people who like I would argue that all of the people who were likely to be interested joined. And then that was it. Like it wasn't, I don't think there were going to be continued mass people who were going to come in and keep these like luxury prices up. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, who knows? But it's just really, really hard to look back at those prices and think, yeah, that could have kept going. Anion said, I only came in 2023 because prices for random cards seemed way too high for me to get in earlier. Yeah. There were plenty of people who like came in, like anyone I talked to about the game, it was like, oh, how do I play? And you kind of explain and they're like, all right, like how much do I pay for cards? And then you tell them. And a lot of times back then at least, and you even the other problem was that, like, we didn't even have all of the licenses. So it's not like you could say like, oh yeah, we have the Prem. But like even if they had like a they when we Real Madrid was one of the earlier ones, and like if you're presenting the game at some point and you're like, yeah, you got to spend $8,000 for a Thibaut Courtois card, rare. Like not many people are gonna be in on that. Like you have to spend $8,000 for a goalie. Well, how much the outfielders cost? And there were no limiteds then. So it's not like it's not like we're like, oh, you well, just play limited because that would only be 800. I mean, what did I assume Courtois limiteds were over 1,000 at some point. Yeah. I mean, tons. As high as 1,800. Man, I don't know. So we're not going to get those again. It's obviously cheaper to play. The ROI percentages could be the same. We just have to take advantage now. And that's the lesson for today. Thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. Have an excellent weekend. Take some time over the international break to take a breath. That's my only advice. If you don't want to, that's cool. I don't really care. But I think this is a perfect opportunity for users to take the kind of the step back overview of their gallery. Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? Is it worth spending time strengthening your weaknesses or cutting the cord and putting those resources into your strengths and making them even stronger? Build lineups ahead of time. If you are a rookie member of Sorare Data and want to build lineups well into the future, leave your Sorare name in the comments below. We'll get you a 72-hour membership so that you can do it for free and you can just look ahead and see what you got. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming. Don't forget to get your steps in.